Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Today I have the opportunity to work on a very early Penn reel in design. It's a later edition of it, but this is the Penn 77, and this reel was one of the first ones that Penn came up with. As you'll notice, it is a direct drive reel. It is a smaller format for a Penn reel. It does not have a drag system, but rather you can spin this both ways. And well, we're going to show you how it was made and how to service it. It's relatively easy service, but we do want to service all reels regardless of the ease or the complexity of the reel itself. And this one, well, this one is what's called a knuckle buster direct drive reel. You'll see why in a moment. This one's in great condition, so let's start by taking off the exterior parts. And as I do, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel. If you do subscribe to my channel, please use the notification button. That'll let you know when I'm posting, and you can see if that's a video that you would like to watch. I cover all kinds of fishing reels. This one is a classic from the early days of Penn, but well, tomorrow might be the latest one from Shimano, or who knows from where. You're essentially looking at the reels that come into my shop and the service protocol behind them. This is a two-handled, two-knobbed handle. Comes off the center post, and that's the main gear underneath. We're just going to service that handle by putting a little bit of penetrating oil into the cavities of each of those knobs. And we'll put that into a parts tray. When I take my parts off, I put them into a tray. I use a fast food container for that. I would encourage you to have a system to deal with the parts that you remove from your reels. You're going to need a smaller screwdriver for the next set of screws. These are smaller than the base ones that Penn has used. So a normal bladed screwdriver will not work very well. And when you take those screws out, make sure that they're all the same size. If they're not the same size, mark where the ones that are longer or shorter belong. And well, in this case, we have a broken one here. I don't know if we can get that out, and I don't know if I have a replacement screw for that. So I'm thinking we're probably just going to let that one go. It would be worse if the screw was just plain lost, because then you might have a looseness in the reel seat. I'm thinking we might just be able to let that go. Yeah, we'll let that one go. It's got a good stud on it, and well, that's all it's really going to take. So what do we notice here? We have a cavity in the back of this, and this is just a bigger version of everybody's bait casters from the 30s and the 40s. Has two differences to it. The first difference to it is that it does not have a level line feature, which many of those reels had. And the second feature is that it's a little bit larger than what those ordinary bait casters were. So Penn was essentially establishing themselves as a saltwater fishing reel company, and pretty much to this day it's pretty much recognized as a saltwater fishing company. There's some reels that they've downsized, but overall the equipment is really made for the saltwater environments. You're seeing that I'm using a piece of steel wall. That's a 4.0 steel wall. That's the finest of the cuts of steel wall. And I'm using some polishing, chrome polish, because there is some greening on these bars here. We do want to get that off. When you're working on a reel, you do want to take care to clean the reel. It doesn't make any sense to put all the effort into the mechanical side of it and not clean it up. So the polishing that I'm using is a turtle wax chrome polish. I did find that they've changed the bottle. I was getting concerned that it would no longer be available. It's basically an automotive polish, and well, you just don't see chrome on automobiles any longer. All right, so the back end, what we've done is we've taken the time to clean this up. Cleaning involved just 4.0 steel wool, very fine, and some chrome polish. we're going to lubricate the back end of this where that cavity is. The back end of the spool is going to fit into that. I'll put a little bit of grease on to that spool. And then I'm going to tie this off here. There's a little swivel. I don't want that banging around and doing things, so we'll just use a rubber band to tie that off. The pinion gear, or spool gear, is part of the spool here. When you get into reels that have free spool, that pinion gear is normally held in by a yoke and separates from the spool. In this case, it does not. Just as I go to do that, I notice we have a little bit of debris on the shoulders of the spool, so we'll clean that up. I'm going to use a rod and reel cleaner for that. I'm going to use Penn's product, not because this is a Penn reel, but because the product works pretty good, and I'll use it on almost all reels where there's debris in the lake there. Okay, let's put the spool back in. You'll notice on this side there is no side spool adjustment. And put it in backwards, you'll also notice that. There you go. All right. Just keeping me honest. On the inside here is, well, basically identical to what you saw on the other side. We have a cavity where the other side of the spool will sit. We have a little bushing encased in a Bakelite frame. Bakelite is a type of a plastic. The spool is made of the same material. And we'll just, again, we'll grease that up a little bit. You can grease the inner bushing, or after you clean the main gear, you can take the time to grease it from that side. Either way, it does need some grease. This main gear is in very good condition. I'll put a little bit of grease on that. And the last thing you want to do with that main gear is hold it and pull through with a brush to get the old greases out. And I pull towards me, and I have a piece of paper underneath. This is a paper towel. And I want to catch all the stuff that's coming out of the teeth. Once I have that out of the teeth, check the orientation of the teeth, make sure that they're all crisp, that there's nothing broken, chipped, or distorted, and then go ahead and put the grease back on. Only use fishing reel grease. I'm using Penn Precision Reel Grease for this project. Again, not because it's a Penn reel, doesn't hurt it, but I just like the product, and as long as you like the product, go for it. Take the main gear now, put that into the housing. Hold your hand on the main gear so that it doesn't flip when it turns out. Take your handle, set that over the top, and your handle screw to hold that handle and the main gear in place. Just like that. And holding it, we'll turn it to lock that in. And just turn it, make sure that it turns nice and easy. So this is called the direct drive reel. It uses the main gear to turn the gear on the spool. Again, not a fancy reel, but one that's certainly going to be around for a long time. I like the idea of these reels because, well, the pieces and parts don't break either, do they? Alright, I'm going to use that stud here to align that again. I think at some point that snapped off, maybe a prior service or something. I don't want to, I don't have a screw for this, and I don't want to risk maybe breaking it off a little bit more, losing that, and then losing the stability on that reel seat. Okay. There's 3 more screws. When I do this, I like to alternate the sides to keep the pressure on it. I guess I just lost the cap for the chrome cleaner. That's what you heard hit the floor. Yeah, things do fall off this bench. Try to organize your workspace so that you can anticipate problems that may occur, and falling pieces and parts is one of them. I don't think from my videos that you see the floor underneath me, but I have one of those hard plastic mats that you would typically find under an office chair. And so if anything kind of hits, it stays there, and I keep that mat clean. All right, we've just put the screws into the side plate, and let's give it a test. Well, this one just runs nice and smooth as you would expect it to run. Again, when you go to cast now, they're called knuckle busters. If you have your hand on your rod and you're throwing the cast, this is going to be spinning backwards, and it can hit you. So you need to be a little bit aware of that when you're making those casts. Otherwise, this reel's been cleaned, inspected, and is ready to go back fishing again. So simple reels, simple way to service, but please don't avoid them because of that. Don't run them into the ground. Make sure that you take the time to service the reel, and it'll keep you fishing for a long time to come. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, wishing our first responders and essential personnel the best. Your efforts truly are appreciated. And everyone, please have coming up on the holiday season, have a safe and happy holiday. Keep your fishing reels serviced and ready to go. The spring fishing run won't be that far behind, and you'll be ready to go when the fish start biting. Have a great day.